The Genovese crime family is widely regarded as the most powerful and sophisticated of New York's infamous five families. Over the decades, it has built an ironclad reputation for strategic leadership, unwavering secrecy, and ruthless efficiency, qualities that have earned it the nickname the Ivy League of organized crime. Unlike other mafia families that frequently crumbled due to infighting, government informants, and reckless decision-making, the Genovese family maintained a tight grip on power through disciplined, well-orchestrated criminal enterprises. From the violent street wars of the 1930s to the modern-day world of white-collar crime, its members have adapted and thrived, outlasting many of their rivals. Even law enforcement struggles to fully penetrate its ranks, thanks to an internal rule forbidding members from discussing the real boss's identity aloud, a system that kept their leadership structure one of the most secretive in mafia history. What sets the Genovese family apart from the rest is its ability to operate from the shadows. While the Gambinos, Bonanos, and Colombos suffered from high-profile betrayals and headline-grabbing arrests, the Genovese family's leaders ensured that their business remained discreet and well-organized. They specialized in long-term, high-profit rackets such as labor unions, real estate fraud, loan sharking, and gambling, infiltrating legitimate industries while keeping law enforcement at bay. At one point, the Genovese family controlled entire unions from inside prison, determining which workers got jobs, which shipments moved first, and even siphoning millions from worker pensions. Their influence stretched beyond blue-collar crime. Even the olive oil in grocery stores wasn't safe. In the 1970s, they ran a multi-million-dollar scam, selling bottles of fake Italian olive oil made from dyed soybean oil to unsuspecting Americans. The scheme was so successful that it went unnoticed for years, further proving that the Genovese family wasn't just powerful, it was innovative in deception. The Genovese family traces its origins back to the Castellamarese War, 1929 to 1931, a bloody power struggle between the traditional Sicilian mafia, led by Salvatore Maranzano, and the younger, more pragmatic Americanized gangsters, led by Charles "Lucky" Luciano. Luciano, a sharp and calculating mobster, understood that the old ways of running the mafia were outdated and inefficient. He sought to modernize organized crime, transforming it from a loosely connected set of feuding gangs into a highly structured, corporate-like entity. On April 15, 1931, Luciano made his boldest move. He orchestrated the assassination of Joe the Boss Masseria, Maranzano's main rival, in a Lower East Side restaurant. Just 5 months later, Luciano turned on Maranzano himself, sending gunmen disguised as federal agents to his Manhattan office, eliminating him for good. With Maranzano gone, Luciano implemented a radical new system. Instead of a single dictator ruling over the mafia, he established the five families and created the Commission, a governing body that oversaw disputes and major decisions. This shift ensured a more stable and lucrative criminal enterprise, one that avoided unnecessary violence while maximizing profits. The Luciano crime family, later renamed the Genovese family, quickly became a dominant force in organized crime, controlling prostitution, narcotics, labor unions, and extortion rackets across the country. His influence extended far beyond New York. During World War II, he even made a secret deal with the U.S. Navy to protect the docks from enemy sabotage, proving that the mafia's reach extended into the highest levels of power. When Lucky Luciano was deported to Italy in 1946, his loyal yet cunning underboss, Vito Genovese, saw an opportunity to seize power. Unlike Luciano, who preferred diplomacy and strategy, Genovese was cold-blooded and power-hungry, willing to eliminate anyone in his path. One of his most infamous moves came in 1957, when he ordered the assassination of Frank Costello, a respected boss who had taken over after Luciano's departure. But Genovese had an unusual way of sending messages. Instead of a full-scale war, he gave a whispered order to hitman Vincent, the Chin, Gigante. Make him get out. Gigante ambushed Costello in his apartment lobby, firing a single shot to his head. Miraculously, the bullet grazed Costello's scalp instead of killing him. Costello understood the message. He retired from the mafia without seeking revenge. Eager to solidify his rule, Genovese organized the Appalachian Meeting on November 14, 1957, gathering mafia leaders from across the country in upstate New York. However, what was meant to be a show of strength turned into one of the biggest law enforcement blunders in mafia history. State police, suspicious of the large number of luxury cars arriving in the small town, raided the meeting, sending powerful mobsters fleeing into the woods, ditches, and cornfields. Over 60 mafia members were arrested, exposing the existence of a national criminal network to the FBI and the public. Just 2 years later, Genovese's ambitions crumbled when he was convicted of drug trafficking in 1959, a charge many believe was orchestrated by his own men to remove him from power. Perhaps the most bizarre and enigmatic mafia boss of all time, Vincent the Chin Gigante, ruled the Genovese family from the shadows for decades while pretending to be insane. He was frequently seen wandering the streets of Greenwich Village in a bathrobe and slippers, mumbling incoherently to himself, a brilliant deception that fooled doctors, law enforcement, and even his own family. Unlike flashy bosses like John Gotti, Gigante ruled with an iron fist but from the shadows. Under his reign, the Genovese family became the most feared and stable mafia organization, avoiding the kind of internal betrayals that plagued other families. His luck ran out in 1997, when former associates turned government informants testified against him, exposing his decades-long ruse. Convicted on multiple racketeering charges, Gigante finally admitted in 2003 that his insanity act had been a fraud, marking the end of one of the most unbelievable mafia stories of all time. The Genovese crime family remains the most powerful and secretive mafia organization in America. While other families crumbled due to high-profile informants, government crackdowns, and reckless leadership, the Genovese family maintained an unparalleled level of discipline and secrecy. They specialized in long-term, high-revenue operations such as labor union corruption, construction fraud, gambling rings, and loan sharking, infiltrating legitimate industries while keeping law enforcement at arm's length. Unlike the Gambino and Bonanno families, which suffered from well-known turncoats like Sammy the Bull Gravano and Joe Massino, the Genovese family had far fewer informants. Their tight-knit, almost impenetrable organization allowed them to adapt and evolve even as the FBI increased its efforts to dismantle the mafia. While the golden age of the American Mafia may be over, the Genovese family's influence can still be felt in certain industries, proving that, in the underworld, the most disciplined and secretive organization always wins.